you sad? Sometimes winter can bring out the sad in us. In today's video, I'm going to go over some of the things that I'm doing to try and prevent myself getting sad this winter. But what actually is SAD? SAD stands for Seasonal Affective Disorder, and it usually happens in autumn and winter, but it can actually happen at any time of the year. And it's especially prevalent in countries such as the UK that suffer from long, dark, wet winters. And I must acknowledge that it's very different being sad to actually having SAD, which is a disorder, and if you suffer, please seek medical advice. The symptoms of SAD are a persistent low mood, a lack of pleasure or interest in doing anything, irritability, feelings of despair, guilt and worthlessness, feeling lethargic, so a super low energy, not wanting to wake up in the morning, get out of bed, sleeping during the day, craving the carbs, difficulty concentrating, and a decreased sex drive. I would say that I could tick a lot of those. And the main theory of people suffering with SAD is the lack of sunlight. And this hinders the hypothalamus, a part of the brain, working efficiently. The production of melatonin is affected, and melatonin is the hormone that makes you feel sleepy. Your production of serotonin is affected, and this also affects your sleep, mood and appetite. And anything that affects your sleep in a negative way will affect your mood, not to mention how important sleep is for every other aspect of your life as well, physically and mentally. And sunlight also affects your circadian rhythm, which again affects your sleep. So we want to keep that in check so our body clock knows when we should be asleep and when we should be awake, and not just asleep and hibernate all winter. As I mentioned, in the UK we can go through some pretty bleak winters that seem to go on for most of the year, but other countries have similar weather, if not even worse than us, with snowstorms and all sorts, lack of sunlight being a major thing, and they seem to cope a little bit better than us. Why is that? I'll talk about that a little bit more later. I've struggled with seasonal depression for years, and it's mainly since I stopped snowboarding, because winter used to be something that I would really look forward to. I would pack up all of my stuff and go to the mountains for 6 months at a time. The thing is, I don't have a bad life now, it's just that I really struggle with winter. So what's the difference? I think the key things were that I was moving my body loads and I was outside all the time, apart from when I was in the pub, but we won't talk about that. So the main thing that I am combating this winter is to spend as much time outside as physically possible. And yeah, I still got to go to work and stuff, but one thing I'm introducing is I'm having my coffee outside, whether that's taking a flask on my walk with me or actually making my coffee in the woods, or if I go to work, having my coffee just outside at work. But that is something that I want to try and do pretty much every day this winter. Have a coffee outside. If you don't drink coffee or a hot drink, then maybe just take your break outside or have your lunch outside. A little picnic. Make sure to wrap up. There's no such thing as bad weather, only bad clothing. So this will help with my vitamin D intake. Getting the sunlight in my eyes will also help set my circadian rhythm, my body clock. That will also help with my nervous system, calm me down, grounding, all the good stuff. Get outside. Something else I'm doing is a bit of self-care, a bit of self-love, adding luxury to my life. And luxury, I think we can reframe this, because when we say luxury, we're thinking 5-star hotels, fancy cars, stuff that's expensive. However, luxury to me is actually having a coffee outside, because I know how good that is for me, and that's luxurious. Doing something that's good for you. Could be taking a hot bubble bath, having 10 minutes and reading a book to yourself, moisturising your body. I've realised growing up that these things are actually a luxury. And the more that I speak to clients, I think they feel the same, because everyone's so busy with their lives, jobs, keeping houses together, kids. Having 5 minutes to yourself feels like an absolute luxury. And a lot of people feel like they don't either deserve the time or have the time, would rather be helping someone else. What I say to them is that if you're not looking after yourself and you're just running down your battery, you're not going to have the energy to help other people. Also, I'm trying to lead by example and show people that giving yourself a bit of time is good and we all deserve it. I'm thinking a little bit more about what I put into my body when it comes to food and drink. Yes, all I want to do is eat carbs. However, that's not going to make me feel good. Maybe in the short term it will, but not in the long term when I got this to lug around. So, thinking about all the macronutrients, micronutrients, getting all the colours and vegetables and everything that's going to make me feel good from the inside, and that'll help make me feel good on the outside. Nourishing from within. Carbs are not the only thing that make me feel worse in the long run. It's booze and sugar and caffeine, so everything in moderation. I know this is the season to be jolly and drinking, but it just makes me feel like absolute shit. My mood is like wee, woo, wee, woo, whereas I would kind of like to be more like this, petering along the top or middle to top. Meditation and mindfulness is always important, but especially during the winter months. Keeping my mind calm and grounded is super important. I'm also trying to keep my mind active by learning new things. I'm trying to keep my neuro pathways firing, getting some new pathways going on in there, and it's just stimulating me to want to do anything, because I think it is easy just to not bother and switch off, hibernate, shut your mind down, whereas I'm trying to keep active in my mind and my body. So reading, maybe learning a new skill, something like that. But during these months, keeping your mind active is vital. Socialising. I mean, Christmas is a time for socialising, but as long as it's like the good type of socialising. I'm trying to give myself energy because winter sucks it out of me enough as it is. So trying to socialise with people that give me energy rather than just take it. Having some good chats and feeding the soul. For those really awful days where it's wet, windy, horrible, just dark and dingy, you don't want to go outside. Fair enough. There's going to be some days where it's just not going to happen. But moving my body is going to be the next best thing. Moving your body in any way is going to help, whether that's going to the gym, a gentle stretch, bit of dancing. Keeping your body moving will help with your mood, will help with glucose spikes, with all sorts of stuff. I'm also going to try doing a gratitude list in the morning and in the evening where possible, at least once a day, but ideally twice a day, because at the end of the day, you can think about what you're grateful for, what's happened that day. But in the morning, I think it's also nice to kind of think about what you're grateful for, to start your day in that way of being in that gratitude mindset. And the last one on the list is cold water therapy, something that I'm not doing. It's been proven in loads of Scandinavian countries and other cold countries all around the world, the benefits of cold and warm exposure. They've been doing saunas and ice baths for thousands of years, and we just cottoned on that, oh yeah, that might actually be good for you. It's just not for me. I can't do it. It's too cold and too hot. Maybe at some point I'll introduce a cold shower at the end of my lovely warm shower, but I'm not there yet. Something that I've noticed over the last year or so is that the things that I'm trying to do to benefit my health and happiness are things that I already do. Going outside and exercising being the main ones. Approaching them differently has had a totally different impact. I'm now doing these things mindfully. I'm actually aware of what I'm doing. There's intention behind it. It's not just another thing that I have to tick off my list and that I get done so I can carry on and do something else. I'm really slowing down. I'm seeing how my body feels, how it does affect my mood, what I see, what I hear, what I feel, what I notice. And I think this is what's changed. I'm doing these things for me, for my health and well-being, and making that conscious decision is a very powerful thing. These are all the things that I wanted to start now, right at the start of winter. So by the time it gets to like February or March or April or even May last year, when it seemed like winter was never going to end, I'm in the best headspace I could possibly be in. I just really wanted to avoid getting to that really dark, depressed place that I was and have been in the last few winters. and start enjoying my winters again, seeing it as another magical season where there's lots of fun things to go and do and see. I hope you found this video useful and that you can feel positive about the winter months ahead too. I'll see you next time.